now I'm going to invite Sumia, who'll be our first speaker. And here we go. So she'll be joining us just a second. It's connecting. So as Sumia joins us, I'll just go over her bio. Hello, Sumia. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is the audio okay?
Yeah, you're good. Am I good?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So Sumia is a 17-year-old woman in STEM that's passionate about leveraging science and technologies to solve prevalent social issues. She's a women's advocate and continues to push for unheard voices to be heard. She's also super grateful to be a part of Slut Talk this year, and she's going to discuss the potential of technology to resolve issues in sexual violence and rape culture. So Sumia, I'm just going to hand it over to you, and I'm super excited to hear this super interesting and insightful topic.
Sounds good. So it's estimated that about 35% of women worldwide have experienced physical or sexual assault at some point in their lives. And some national studies show that up to 70% of women have experienced this kind of violence from a partner in their lifetime. So I could list the statistics all, but the key here is the problem continues to be a prevalent one even today, disproportionately affecting women. So there are so many victims that aren't getting the light of day, that aren't being validated or supported through their journeys, and we are yet to dig into the causes to implement. So thank you so much to the Purple Sisters organization for making all this happen, having me. As mentioned, I'm Soumya, a rising senior in high school, really passionate about leveraging science and technology to tackle these social issues, which includes sexual assault. So as I was going down rabbit hole trying to put a finger on that overarching root cause of the problem, I realized that a lot of it was rooted in forms of misogyny. So this is the first deep-seated problem that needs to be tackled before we can move any further. However, the key misconception is that it's often presumed to be a black and white problem. But there are so many external factors that exacerbate the problem and that need to be managed in parallel. So this includes slut shaming, victim blaming, etc. And a lot of current problems, like for sexual assault, are reactive. So we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, why aren't we creating solutions that prevent the occurrence of violence in the first place, rather than just responding to them after? So the answer generally comes down to resources and the implementation, like the difficulty of implementation. That's why I'm here to tell you that technology is working wonders today. And this is one way we can overcome this problem. So for instance, with the rapid growth of the internet, online child sex abuse is also on the rise. So the global production of child pornography has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. And even though emotional expression therapy and all these forms of support are provided to these children through their recovery, it's still responsive. They aren't able to return to who they were prior to the incident. But luckily, AI is democratizing features like motion capture technology and natural language processing, or NLP, to create very convenient visuals and voices in their computer models to track down predators and prevent the exploitation of young, vulnerable children. But the key here is that the efficiency of operators is not very good. However, with artificial intelligence, the application of chatbots, these sophisticated avatars, the employment of motion capture technology, once they're automated, can be monitored by a virtual army of bots so that they can scour the web and track down perpetrators. So this is incredible. Like this is still being worked on, and this can be scaled out efficiently thanks to artificial intelligence. And so on another note, another common thread is that a lot of victims at the time of the event use external support, but time to extract themselves from the situation or some kind of emergency help, whatever it is. But the Internet of Things, or IoT, can be employed to connect towers to wearables, just to allow people to protect themselves in a very convenient way. So, for example, should someone need time to remove themselves or send a notification to emergency personnel, the click of a button or a keyword can enact this communication to allow for the blaze of an alarm or a notification to a local station. So for example, the blaze of an alarm, the time needed to perceive it can be utilized in the victim's favor. And as we all know, and on the other hand, mobile apps and their presence and practicality are on the rise. So chatbots with NLP in this sense can also be very useful for current victims who need the reactive support. So we need both. We need the preventative and reactive measures to account for everyone. And so these kinds of chatbots allow for connections, like they can have the post-traumatic support and whatever they need in a very convenient place. And this appeals to anonymity, but also kind of social nature of human beings. And so that's one way. But another option is obviously communal platforms. Victims can connect with others who can empathize with what they've been through. And that's so important. And providing these accessible and convenient options are so important in this day and age, especially during times. And so with that, as mentioned, I think word of mouth is so important for the implementation of these solutions too. Validation and support that we give to these sexual assault and rape victims can go a long way in supporting them through their journey. And so now it's up to you and me, like all these young people that can start normalizing taboo ideas of, you know, how to deal with sexual assault situations, whatever it may be. And that really can go a long way. So we need to act as the new normal. And as we always hear, we need to be the change. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think thank you so much. That was so insightful. I personally had never thought about the intersections with using tech and sexual violence and supporting survivors, which is crazy because technology is so important for our lives right now. So I think it's really cool. And then also being conscious of, for example, COVID, a lot of support centers and kind of groups where survivors can get together and do therapy and work together to get over the trauma and work on it. It's really difficult with COVID because all of those services are gone. So now even with Slut Talk, we're using tech right now, even though there are some issues and problems and with connecting with people, internet connection obviously, but like we did with Slut Talk, we're using tech as a platform, and you can do that with the chat boxes that you mentioned. So it's super insightful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. I hope everyone learned something out of this, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach me. I'm happy to talk. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually just had a question. How did you get involved in STEM, and what brought this to your attention to actually be involved with using STEM as a method to combat sexual violence?
Yeah, so last September I was fortunate enough to join a program called the Knowledge Center. And so this program exposes young people to emerging technologies that have the potential to tackle some of the world's biggest problems. And so I'm very passionate, about brain science, health, but also women's advocacy. And so there are so many problems that are exclusive to women or that disproportionately affect women that not enough people are working on. So I started looking into that, kind of the intersection between mental health and women, and what kinds of things really affect women. And that's when I came across the idea of sexual assault, rape culture, and all this. And I thought, okay, we aren't leveraging tech optimally in this area. And so I thought, okay, how can we apply science and tech in this area to kind of expedite the growth and potential solutions.
Yeah, exactly. And like you mentioned, there are a lot of problems that women in minorities face that never get addressed, and they actually disproportionately affect those people, and it's very unfortunate and upsetting. So it's great to have people like you who are taking a stance and using this. And also we always need more women in STEM, so this opportunity for you to come in, bring a new perspective is really amazing. So thank you so much. I learned a lot. I know a lot of people are commenting that they have learned a lot as well. So yeah, so if you have any questions, please in the DMs or in the comments, and we'll forward them to Sumia. I'm not an expert in this stuff. I'm really bad with tech. I don't even know how to use my email, but hopefully we can pass them down with Sumia, and she can, take over it, and then we'll bring back the answers to you guys.
100%. Yeah, feel free to shoot away. Thank you so much again for having me. It was a pleasure being here. Hopefully we can stay in touch.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for being part of Slut Talk. It was really enjoyable.
Bye.
Awesome. Thank you.